So you spent 40 hours building a perfect test automation portfolio. You meticulously created all the code, you pushed it to GitHub, you linked to it on your resume, and guess what? The hiring manager did not even click the link. If you listen to QA bootcamps or read industry forums, you will quickly learn that building this perfect test automation portfolio is the key to getting hired. And I think this is completely false. And today I am going to tell you exactly why and tell you why that is actively wasting your time in 2026. I'm Casper, welcome to Testimony. I'm here to help QA engineers become test automation engineers one slice at a time. And let's dive right into this topic. So the testing industry is stuck in an echo chamber of sorts because you hear this advice again and again that you should build a portfolio and probably also take part in the open source community, and that will somehow guarantee you getting hired. It sounds nice in theory, but it's completely detached from reality, because let's look at this through the lens of reality and not so much of this imaginary perfect set of scenarios. So let's look at the reality of a hiring manager or a senior engineer who is actually conducting the interview. Their reality is actually that they are drowning in things like plannings and all the ceremonies and the stuff that they need to attend to every day, and in the case of senior engineers, also reviewing the PRs or thinking about the actual architecture of the day-to-day job. So when you add reviewing tons of resumes, sometimes hundreds of resumes on top of all of it, it is pretty naive to think that they are going to spend that much time with your GitHub link. They simply do not have the time or the capacity to open up your resume and go to the link that you have outlined, clone your repository, install your dependencies, run it all, and then stare and marvel at the perfect page object model that you have crafted inside your codebase. It is not going to happen. And they are drowning in resumes too, so they would need to actually repeat that process over and over and over again. So in reality, you would be lucky if they spent 30 seconds looking at your resume rather than just scanning it for the top keywords to see if you know the most important stuff before they actually invite you to the recruitment call. So about these 30 seconds, I would say, is the most you are going to get. And that is provided that you have already passed the AI-assisted applicant tracking system and it did not catch you before you even reached that stage. The idea that the recruiter is going to marvel at your code and marvel at your GitHub projects to any sensible extent before the actual interview is a complete fantasy. And even if, because let's fantasize here for a moment, even if they decide to click the link, what are they going to see on your GitHub? They are most likely going to see some kind of a tutorial or a variation of it that they have already seen thousands of times, or they are going to see yet another Cypress or Playwright framework created on top of a well-known testing application that is used for learning, like Swag Labs or Demo QA. That is what they're going to see there. Having something like this on your GitHub profile does not make you stand out at all. Because what does this really prove? It proves that you can follow a step-by-step tutorial on YouTube. Yeah, that's great, but that doesn't really help as far as actually fighting a real-world problem goes. So this does not really prove that you know what to do with flaky tests in an enterprise environment by any means. And as for open source, finding an open source project where a junior or even before junior test automation engineer can make any sensible contribution without being overwhelmed by all the architecture surrounding it is very, very rare. I would say it's nearly impossible. So this is yet another thing that sounds great in principle, but is completely detached from the reality. It's just highly impractical for someone trying to just get their first job in automation to actually find an open source project with any substance behind it and make a contribution that is reaching beyond like creating a README file or something like that. So should you stop writing code and creating personal projects completely? Of course not, but you need to change your mindset about it, because you are not building these projects in order to hang them on a wall of your GitHub profile page and to show them off like as if they were in an art gallery. You are not doing it for this purpose. You are doing it to learn how to actually tackle real life, real world problems, because this is what you are going to learn along the way, and this is what is going to prove so useful during the actual recruitment process. The value of your projects is not the code base on the server. The value of your code base is the experience you gain from creating all those projects. And this is going to pay dividends when you get to the actual interview, because then you will be able to confidently explain that, yeah, you had these problems with, I don't know, flaky tests, for example, or yeah, you had this kind of a problem with your pipeline because of a Docker issue, and this is how you tried to solve it, or how you did try solve it. So these are going to be things that you can then confidently express when someone tries to talk to you like an actual, as if you were an actual expert, which you are trying to be, rather than as if you are a curator at a museum. And that ability to articulate technical problems and to defend your architectural solutions is what is getting you hired in the first place. So it is not important to show off that you have 5, 10, or 15 frameworks that you have created on your GitHub page. It's important to be able to tell the interviewer why you decided in your personal project to, for example, utilize API calls instead of clicking through the UI for the test setups of a given suite that you have created. So stop treating GitHub like a golden ticket. Write code to understand the concepts, but realize at the same time that the communication, the technical expertise, and the confidence in which comes from repeating a lot of this stuff again and again is what you will actually be tested on and what will actually get you hired. And if you want to know which skills to actually focus on in order to maximize your chances of passing these interviews, I really recommend you to go and watch a video called the Test Automation Roadmap for 2026, which should pop up on the screen somewhere around here. It's updated for 2026, where I focus on the most important stuff, which I think you should focus on first in order to not waste your time jumping from one topic to another. And I'll see you in the next video, and until then, just remember to always keep on rocking.